as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Let's go. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok.
We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, everybody.
בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Alatra Nazarenko. I'm the Education and Engagement Director at Shalom Austin. I am so happy to welcome you to our 5th and final KULANU of the summer, celebrating being Jewish in America and the Jewish contribution to American music across a wide variety of genres. This program has been an incredible way for us all to come together, even though while we're apart, through the power of song. And we really appreciate you spending your evenings with us. Tonight is going to be a very special KULANU. We're honored to have Charlie Rosenblum from Jewish War Veterans of America, commander of Austin Post 757, here with us to give some opening remarks and to tell us more about JWV. Charlie has over 32 years experience as an enlisted soldier and commissioned officer in the U.S. Army, retiring as colonel. He held positions from Private E1 through Sergeant E5 and from platoon leader, second lieutenant through commander, Joint Reserve Unit, U.S. Southern Command, Colonel 06, including a tour in Southeast Asia, Vietnam from 1967 through 1968 as a transportation officer for U.S. First Logistical Command, serving in Long Binh, Vung Tau, Cam Ranh Bay, Saigon, and Newport, Vietnam. He later served as an engineer officer in numerous combat and construction engineer positions in Kaunas, Germany, and Panama. He entered into service in October 1966 and retired in April 1999. After retirement, he taught adjunct business classes at Central Texas Community College. He continued teaching there for 10 years while holding full-time government position at Johnson Controls, Inc. He continued to teach when he worked next at Central Texas College as the Director of Employee Services and then later as a government contractor for the NCO lead program at Central Texas College. He finally quit teaching when he became the Director of Human Resources at Texas A&M Central Texas from 2012 to 2017, and he finally retired for good in 2017. Welcome, Charlie. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ilana, and welcome. And thank you, Shalom Austin, for having us. To all those listening and watching on KULANU today, thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about Post 757 and some of the important work that we continue to do even in these stressful and challenging times. Some of you already know and quite familiar with Post 757 and some of our members and patrons through their membership in your own organizations. There are those, however, who are not familiar with the many mitzvahs and activities that we engage in. Please allow me to introduce you to some of our areas of involvement. Post 757 has approximately 60 members and patrons who support our members through community participation, veterans benefits, and fundraising activities. Our community participation is through parades and through Memorial Day flag presentations for veterans' graves. We participated in Heroes Night Out, which is a community-sponsored event for active duty and reserve armed forces in the Austin area. We provided on-site military-style color guard, and many of you know us from this event, and funeral services headed by Mike Miller and his select group who gave appropriate services at special events and military funerals. Veterans benefits include aiding the Veterans Administration with assistive devices, such as the donation of wheelchairs, and providing additional volunteer services to the non-resident services here at Austin. Our veteran services also include fundraising events such as poppy drives, where our members and patrons receive donations from the general public. Here we donated to the Central Texas Food Bank, which many of you do, which in turn provides 3 times a month services to the veterans at the Temple VA, which many people do not know. They go out 3 times a month to the Temple VA, and we've donated to their food services as a result. Our post recently received a prestigious National Wolfson Award for community building for these and other services that we provide to veterans. Greg Phillipson is our historian, lecturer, and collector of many things related to the military. He's provided briefings and presentations to veterans groups, youth groups, and active duty personnel at Fort Hood. He's presented Yom HaShoah, Days of Remembrance, and Jewish holidays, both at Fort Hood and elsewhere in the surrounding area. And Greg is a tremendous asset to us. He's presented at libraries and elsewhere. We normally base ourselves out of the JCC, but we also go to other temples and houses of worship when asked to do so. We consider ourselves a community asset, and we present ourselves whenever possible to the community as part of the services that we provide to veterans, families, and the community itself. And that's our presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Colonel Rosenblum, and thank you so much very much to you and to the Jewish war veterans for your invaluable, inspiring, and cherished work on behalf of each of us and our community.
And I would add that Rabbi Milner is a member of our organization as well.
Excellent. Well, we're very glad to share this with you, and we're certainly grateful for all that you and all of the JWV attendees do for us regularly. And thank you, Rabbi Milner. We're going to hear from him at the very end, maybe a little bit about his service, which is really great.
Thank you.
So all of us together are here to celebrate Judaism, Jews, America, as we anticipate the 4th of July. And just as we listen to our wonderful friends and colleagues sing offerings from Jewish composers, it'd be interesting for us to maybe think about memories, if we have any, of our 4th of July celebrations or what we would do. For me, it was a highlighted holiday when I was growing up in the suburbs of Chicago. A lot of baseball playing and watching fireworks, music, and parade that we would march in and do all sorts of great stuff every year. But maybe this year it's maybe a little more. And as we gather as a Jewish community, we continue to tell our stories. We continue to take pride in the stature that we have in this country as Jews, both as conveners of conversations and workers for moral ground. So it's a pleasure to introduce wonderful friends who are going to be presenting as they do. We're going to hear first from Cantor Yitzhak Ben Moshe from Congregation Beth El. I'm going to keep all the selections a surprise because I want people to kind of hear where they're from, because I think it's a really kind of an interesting eclectic mix of what we've got going on. And then we'll come back at it. So Cantor Ben Moshe, looking forward to hearing your beautiful music.
Thank you, Rabbi Blumoff. I thought we'd hear something from two nice Jewish boys from Kew Gardens, Queens. Two Jewish boys who met in elementary school and decided to start working together, composing together and singing together. And they made a major contribution to the American songbook, combining traditional folk music with original compositions and bringing, I think, poetry, as well as, if I may say so, some chazanut, because one of them did train as a chazan. I'm speaking, of course, of Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. And the song that I'm going to sing is from their last album, the title track of Bridge Over Troubled Water. And I thought that it was an appropriate song for this time that we find ourselves in, when we do find ourselves surrounded and maybe separated by troubled waters, but we can bridge over them through programs such as this, such as KULANU, and other things going on in the community and in our individual congregations. So, Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. Sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind.
Thank you so much, Cantor Ben Moshe. a really amazing way to begin our KULANU, as we really appreciate the tremendous gifts that Jews and Jewish musicians have brought to shape the soundtrack of America. So thank you for that wonderful powerhouse selection. And as we think about that, and we're going to turn it to a cantorial soloist, Sarah Avner from Beth Israel, who has another song that may be familiar to another group of folks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not going to lie, to the Canadian, this was an exciting task. I learned a lot about contributions of Jews to American music. And honestly, the first thing that jumped into my head were Christmas carols and Broadway. But this song, this is by Adam Levine of Maroon 5. And maybe you're familiar with their music and maybe you are not. But in Judaism, we often speak about people we are missing and hoping that their memories are a blessing. And as we travel through this time and we head to another holiday where we're not going to throw a big barbecue and we're not going to travel to be with our loved ones, I wonder if we are thinking more about those we are missing, not just in person who are still with us today, but also those who we are missing because they've died. So that is what this song is about. And if you've heard it, feel free to sing along. And if you haven't, I hope it's okay. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Okay, I need to move the slide ahead also. There's a time that I remember when I didn't know no pain, when I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feels like December when somebody say your name, 'cause I can't reach out to call to you, but I know I will one day. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, but everything gonna be alright. Go and raise a glass and say, hey, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, when I felt all of the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feels like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry this torch for you, and you know I never drop. Oh, everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, but everything gon' be alright. Go and raise a glass and say, hey, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. So we head into this 4th of July weekend. I hope that memories of your loved ones are what fill you with joy, and we look forward to making new memories in the year to come.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for your very poignant explanation and beautiful rendition of Memories by Maroon 5. We're really happy to hear and go back in time just a little bit with Barbara Taft and Abraham Davidson, musical directors at Congregation Shalom Rav, for one that we might know, and I can't wait to hear your rendition of this very special song. Friends?
George Gershwin was born Jacob Gershowitz on September 26, 1898 in Brooklyn. His parents, Rosa Bruschini and Moshe Gershowitz, had fled Russia in the late 1800s because of rising anti-Semitism. They married in New York in 1895. Gershwin wrote Porgy and Bess in 1935 with his brother Ira and with DuBose Hayward, who had written a book called Porgy. Initially, this was a commercial failure, Porgy and Bess, but eventually it came to be considered one of the most important American operas of the 20th century and a cultural classic. And Barbara will sing the most popular song from the opera, Summertime.
So one of the things that we did before COVID-19 was to sing for seniors all over Central Texas. And this song, Summertime, was one of their favorites. And since we can't do that now, and who knows when we'll be able to do it again, when the subject came up of a song, I decided to sing this song for all of the seniors that I'm missing. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You're gonna spread your pretty wings and take to the sky. But until that morning, there's nothing can harm you, 'cause Mama and Papa are standing by. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, hush, little baby, don't you cry. Hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much. And thank you, Abraham, for that really beautiful, profound rendition of Summertime. And speaking of seniors, I know Cantor Abby Gostein has a selection that I think will inspire us as well. from one of the most recognized recently poets of our age. Cantor?
So the last time I did a KULANU concert, I actually shared a setting of the priestly benediction by Cantor Lisa Levine. And now again, I am sharing a setting of the priestly benediction, but I don't really know if when the composer of this wrote it, how much he really truly knew he was writing a setting of the priestly benediction. But this is by someone born as Robert Zimmerman, but known more popularly as Bob Dylan, and someone with a great impact on the American songbook. And this song is not called the priestly benediction, but it is called Forever Young, probably known by many of you out there. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong, and may you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young, and may you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung, and may you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young, and may you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young, and may you stay forever young.
Thank you so much, Abby. Really uplifting. Wow. So we, in our humble offering, have brought forth music of George Gershwin, Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, Maroon 5. It's a really amazing offering just in this time. And as we consider this, as we consider our identity, as we consider the meaning and the impact of the 4th of July of being Jewish in America, to hear again the words, the famous words of newly inaugurated and elected President George Washington in 17.
See if I can connect with my AirPods.
Who wrote this this letter to the Jews in Newport, and he said, "May the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. May the Father of all mercies make us all in our several vocations useful here, and in all his own due time and way, everlastingly happy." And hopefully that's something we can think about as well. We as Jews living here and really accessing, as Sarah mentioned, memories, and all of us, just the beautiful ways that we have connected and continue to be blessings in this world. Thinking about songs to present, I was going back and forth. I was really, when I was little, I really was impacted by Neil Diamond's America from the Jazz Singer. You guys remember that one? On the boats and on the planes, they're coming to America. Never, you remember that one? Yeah, it didn't help that people called me Neil Diamond or Neil Armstrong growing up, but that's fine. Enough about that. But I was thinking about that one, and then I was thinking about many of you who might know me, Leonard Cohen's Democracy from 1992. But then I remembered, Sarah, he's Canadian, so what can I do with that? I can't, I can't do that. So, but check out, certainly, if you want to, America. They're Coming to America by Neil Diamond, or Democracy from the album from 1992, The Future. So I wanted to go back in time and wanted to end this aspect before we introduce Rabbi Milner and Shalom Austin to close us with a song that you might know. It's called "God Bless America." It's by Irving Berlin, and he wrote it during World War I in 1918, and he revised it in 1938, right before World War II, and he really wanted it to become a peace song. And to this day, there's an organization where the royalties of God Bless America are actually given to the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts in New York City, which is interesting. So many of you might know this. I just wanted to mention as well, as we sort of think about the so-called good old days, that nothing can be done without controversy. That when it came out in 1938, it was actually criticized by Woody Guthrie in 1940. And Woody Guthrie wrote a song that you might know called "This Land Is Your Land," in anticipation or in opposition to God Bless America. So that's awesome. However, as you might know, God Bless America was used at civil rights marches and labor rallies, and was also used by Christian conservatives, which I think really sums up the Jewish dilemma of being everywhere and nowhere for everyone at the same time. It's been used at sporting events, and it was campaign songs for both Democrats and Republicans, most famously in 1940 for FDR and the Republican candidate as well. And it was sung in our generation, perhaps on the evening of 9/11. You might remember that, members of Congress singing the song on the steps of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. So I just thought it would be interesting for us to think about this song and how it really is a landmark for the 20th century by Irving Berlin, who very much wanted to identify with America and did, and wrote some of those very famous songs, Sarah, including, White Christmas and Easter Parade. So it's very interesting that this is God Bless America. And in the introduction, if you remember, "While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. One more time, y'all. Let's do it together. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. So may we have a significant, well-shared 4th of July, and for a word of inspiration of Torah, as Colonel Rosenblum mentioned before, Rabbi Milner is a member of the JWV, and I think he has a special message for us here. And from his message, then we'll continue with a close from Shalom Austin. Rabbi Milner?
Thank you, Rabbi. It's great to be with everybody at this final Kulanu right before the 4th of July. I am, in addition to being the full-time rabbi over at Congregation Tiferet Israel, I am also a chaplain at the 149th Fighter Wing, which is based at JBSA Lackland. And I've been with them now for about over a year after having transferred from the US Navy. And it's a great fit, and it's wonderful. And serving my country, serving my state, and serving my amazing, courageous, and brilliant airmen is really a zchut for me. It's an honor for me. It's a privilege every single day that I'm able to be in their presence, to put on that great uniform, and to serve my wing and my state is a real honor for me. I wanted to talk, Rabbi Blumoff sang a song, God Bless America, and I wanted to just, I'm not going to sing it. He did an amazing job, and but I wanted to talk about it in a slightly different way, which might give you a sense of maybe how we could center our thoughts and what it means to be American Jews this coming 4th of July. For me, one of the reasons why I chose to serve was because the Constitution guarantees our freedom to be as Jewish as we want to be, or not as Jewish as we want to be. It doesn't matter. But the Constitution guarantees our freedom of religion. And as an American Jew, I feel a responsibility towards protecting that, towards ensuring that generation after generation will be able to share and enjoy that same liberty. And that being said, there's a story I'd like to share with you about what it means to be an American, at least for me, and it revolves around this song. Story is told of a young boy who was running away from the Nazis for many days, and he was in the woods, and he was completely sleep deprived, and he was starving, and he could barely open his eyes, always running from everything that he heard. And early one morning, he heard the sound of tanks rumbling over the terrain. And with eyes that could barely open, he peered through to see who was coming. Were they Germans? Were they Russians? He didn't know. But he looked, and on top of one of the tanks, he saw flying a faded, tattered flag with 13 stripes of red and white. And he saw a blue canvas with what looked to him like a galaxy of stars strewn about it. And he realized that what he was watching was the Americans coming. And without even thinking, the boy got up, and with the little energy that he had left in his body, he just started running towards these tanks. The soldiers who were there at the sight of seeing a strange child running at them cocked their rifles and kept screaming at him, "Stop or we'll shoot, stop or we'll shoot." But the boy didn't speak English. He didn't understand English. He just saw the American flag. He understood what that meant, and he just kept running. And the soldiers kept screaming, "Stop or we'll shoot." right before the soldiers, the boy fell to his knees and he raised his hands as high as he could. And with the little breath he had in his body, the only words of English he knew were those 3 words that Rabbi Blumoff sang, the 3 words that Irving Berlin wrote from a popular song that his parents would play over and over and over again in his little village in Poland, God Bless America. And he kept screaming, God Bless America, from the top of his lungs until he couldn't scream those words anymore. And the boy was taken, they brought him to safety. He ended up coming to the United States. And a few years ago, I was actually able to see the descendants of that boy and the descendants of that soldier who saved him come together. But for me, that's what this is all about, what our flag stands for, what our Constitution stands for as Jews. God bless America, a place that stands up for freedom, a place that symbolizes freedom, and a place that also stands up for the oppressed and always makes sure that those who are in need of help, those who are in need of safety, receive it because of the long and wide-reaching embrace of our arms. And I hope that all of you have a meaningful 4th of July. And I hope that all of you remember the story as you see flags and are able to celebrate. I know that it's going to be a bit of a different celebration this year, but to think about the power of what it means to live in a land of freedom with our Constitution and our flag to guard us and our flag to keep us safe, and to take a moment, a quiet moment, to thank those who put their lives on the line every single day so that we can enjoy that freedom. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. And again, I want to wish everybody a safe and a healthy and a happy 4th of July weekend. And to close out by just simply wishing everybody a wonderful week, and God bless America.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rabbi Milner. And a really powerful story, and really appreciate that as a companion to the song that we just enjoyed. So we've been very proud and happy to have presented these KULANU events. I just want to say I'm going to introduce Rachel Stern in just a moment, who's got some announcements and some thoughts as we close. If you're experiencing some KULANU withdrawal and you want to really think about the 4th of July too, we're putting together a special conversation next Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. This is July 3rd at 4 o'clock. Rachel, thank you so much. Rachel put out the registration for it, featuring Dr. Colette Pierce Burnett, the president and CEO of Houston Tillotson University, a historical Black college here in Austin, Reverend Ashton Cumberbatch, who's a community activist and has been the police monitor for the city of Austin, and Michael Malone, a renowned musician. We're going to be in conversation, the 4 of us, speaking about America, speaking about our soul, and speaking about our future. So again, if you want to be part of that, please register. Rachel put it in the chat, and it is an honor with gratitude from all of us, Rachel, that we thank you and we appreciate you and Shalom Austin for convening us. So Rachel, please.
Thank you, Rabbi Blumoff. And I wanted to pop in here and give a surprise shout out thank you to Alachua Nazarenko, or as we like to call her, the captain of KULANU. We have this idea that was brought to us from a community member, and Alachua took this and convened this amazing group of clergy. And thanks to all of you, your voices, your ideas to make this come alive. We have been on a KULANU journey together. We've been for 5 KULANU experiences together. We started at the beginning when we just felt really fragile and unsure, and seeing each other's faces gave us hope and guidance. We then focused on our holidays that felt really different, and we celebrated Passover together. We said happy birthday to Israel together and invited families to come together. We shared our overwhelming glory for the receiving of the Torah, and we are now coming together and thinking about what it means to be Jews living in America. And all of these wonderful things came together into a program because of Alachua's leadership and organization. So thanks to Alachua, and thanks to our clergy team and voices. This was truly a community effort put together, beautifully exceeded all of our expectations. And I hope that it rose your spirits as a community the way that it was intended to. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the captain of KULANU, for our final words. Thank you, Rachel. That was so lovely. It has truly been my pleasure to put these on. The highlight of my month when it happens. So I want to thank Rabbi Milner for his closing words, Rabbi Blumoff for guiding us through this Kulanu as he has done with every Kulanu, just so beautifully making it flow. I want to thank all the clergy and performers who have been part of this from the very, very beginning. So many of you are on this concert. Some weren't able to make this concert, but there have been so many of you through your beautiful music who have really enabled us to create community. Thank you to all our congregational and community partners for making this happen with us. And again, as always, thank you to all of you for joining and making this so special for so many months. We look forward to being with you all again very, very soon. Have a wonderful night. Good night.